Hi everyone, welcome back to the Stay Hungry podcast. It's Joel and Andy today, and we're talking about the entrepreneur's dilemma, balancing marketing and managing your business. Andy, we say it every time, but it feels like it's been ages since we've done this.
Has been this time. We've been off for ages.
Yeah. We've both been ill.
COVID again for 2 weeks. I still sound a bit rough now, probably. I'd love to say this is my natural husky voice, but it's not. It's just...
welcome to Andy's sex line.
COVID hangover. Right, entrepreneur's dilemma then.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, this entrepreneur's dilemma is just balancing everything, or, spinning plates, that whole, I want the business to grow. Typical example would be someone who's growing the business to 100 grand a year, 200 grand a year, and then they really would like to scale it to 7 figures or whatever it might be, and sort of having to get back in the trenches after being in relative comfort. That whole do I take on staff? Do I take on premises? What do I need to do in terms of my marketing to scale to that? How much do I need to reinvest in my marketing to create that level of scale? And does that mean
another devil, some might say?
Yeah. And I think ultimately what happens for most people is they either burn through cash quickly, burn through all their time, and end up divorced or whatever. And that's the entrepreneur's dilemma. And we've been there, we've been through it, and this is us chatting about it, really.
A lot of divorced business people out there, that's for sure. A lot of divorced people, full stop. But yeah, in business, it can be hard because, like you say, you think you do X to get to the next level and everything will be okay. But something might be okay, but you'll just start encountering new challenges. Like you say, shit, I probably do need an office now. So that's legal, that's research, that's another meeting with the accountant, that's ongoing bills. You might need staff. I mean, HR alone is every business owner with staff we know always joke about their staff. They wouldn't be without them, but there certainly comes some challenges with
they're like the best and the worst thing about being in business. And I love our team, but they know it's presented as challenges in the past, and when dealing with people, that is just the nature of it, and then, like you say, there's the property side of things, and that's all the kind of general things that you have to manage as the business owner. And sometimes marketing can then feel like a choice, where you go, I'll leave that because I have to make sure so-and-so's got a contract, or I have to sign the lease, or I have to make sure that the company car gets returned in a good condition. Whereas the whole, do I need to do 3 stories, a reel, a podcast, and make sure that our ad spend is effective today? I'll leave it till tomorrow. And that's where things start to go wrong.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I do think, I remember reading Dan Kennedy years and years ago, and it was him. It was he had a PA who was based hundreds of miles away from him, and basically like a phone and a fax machine. And because the level of experience he had and his skill set, he was able to charge, I think he was even back then, $10,000 a day for his copywriting services. That was his business model. And obviously there are some people that still do that now, earn a fortune being effectively a sole trader. But, you can grow a team without needing to employ now. That probably those kind of options weren't as prevalent when we started out. So maybe you do get a VA in the Philippines or whatever. You've got a call answering service. So you can build a team without necessarily having to employ them. As for how loyal they'll be to you, well, that's another podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we're an agency as such, and all of our team are internal, and that comes with its own challenges. We know agencies that on paper don't have an employee, and that comes with a whole different set of challenges. It's but yeah, I think if you're looking to scale a business, what got you here won't get you there, or whatever the phrase is. So if you're at 100k, 200k, maybe even 500,000, but you want to really scale the business to a place where it's either a really great asset for you or an asset you can sell, you've got to start getting your fundamentals in place. And marketing is one of those crucial business fundamentals that if it doesn't acquire you customers in a predictable and scalable way, then your business asset has got a flaw. And the problem a lot of business owners find is that getting the marketing to a place where it does that eats their time or eats their money or eats their sanity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, marketing gets harder. I mean, it's when you start up in business, the only thing you can really do is market yourself. Shit, I've got to get out there. I've got to get my name out there. But obviously, as soon as you start getting the customers, you have to look after them. Then again, we talked about bloody staff, premises, whatever it might be. And marketing, we just see it time and time again. It just gets added to the must-do tomorrow pile. And most marketing, the lack of success for most companies when it comes to marketing isn't they don't have enough knowledge. It's just not high enough priority to them. So it just gets done sporadically and they miss that consistency. And without that consistent implementation, before you know it, it's like, oh, the leads seem to be a bit quiet, or suddenly gaps start appearing in the diary. I mean, I can't. It's a hard argument to get across, but I can't tell you how many times we've spoken to business owners who are flying, so they figure they don't need to market themselves.
Turn off their lead magnet.
Yeah, oh, I've got leads coming out my arse. Business. Look at my restaurant. All the tables are full. Why do I need to market myself? And I had this with a hairdresser a couple of months ago. All his chairs are full. A few years ago. Everything's really cool, but then suddenly, other hairdressers started opening up, maybe undercutting them a little bit, and suddenly realised that his loyal customers, guess who they're loyal to first? Themselves. And they start fucking off, and then, oh, shit. And because he wasn't marketing himself, he didn't have a database to go to ramp things up again.
Yeah, I see that so much. I mean, cards on the table. We're a marketing agency, and sometimes we could fall into this trap. It's so easy as an entrepreneur to be like, fucking hell, that's costing us a lot of money. And database growth is one of those things. You could be in an industry where a lead costs £1. You might be in an industry where a lead costs £100. But if you need 100 leads at £100 to make a sale, that's what you need. That's the game you're in. Yeah. And until you know that, you can't scale. And I've literally had conversations with people who are doing well now, and they've said, look, I don't want any more leads. I can't cope with the number of inquiries coming in. And I've begged them to put their prices up, or begged them to offer something that people can go and fulfill themselves. If they sell a service in particular, is there something you can do, like a DIY pack that people can go and do themselves? And they haven't taken action on that. And 6 months later, I've seen them telling people that it's really tough at the moment. And it didn't need to be. It's like, make hay whilst the sun shines is kind of the... And
take responsibility for that as well, because, I saw a post this morning, something about like no whining, no excuses, whether you succeed or fail, chances are the responsibility lies with you. So no point moaning that business is tough when it's like, well, when business wasn't tough, you seemed quite chipper, so chipper, in fact, you didn't need to do anything about it. And all we're saying, this marketing is just about as much as about protection as promotion. And if business is going really well, you've got to fucking protect that.
Yeah.
And that will involve time and money.
And looking at the fundamentals of business and the fundamentals of marketing. So every limited company needs an accountant. You do. You want your year end done. You want all the stuff with HMRC filed. Every limited company needs a bank account. Every limited company needs marketing, and it's not you don't opt in or opt out of it. Yes, you might not need a marketing agency. I'd completely appreciate that, but there is something within your business that is consistently marketing your business, because if that doesn't exist, the business stalls. And what a lot of people struggle with is, I've seen people grow businesses as big as £1 million off their little black book, where all the contacts they built up throughout their career, their life, their family, whatever it might be, has served them really well to a point. And then when they hit that point, they don't know what to do. They realise that actually my pricing structure doesn't work for people that don't know me, or I haven't got any case studies or evidence to showcase the transformation my service or product provides. And I see that time and again. You'll meet like great examples like electricians that are making a comfortable living on their own. Then they bring in an apprentice. That goes quite well, but the apprentice wants more money and wants their own van and wants their own uniform, wants their own set of tools. And you oh shit, to make this pay, I'm actually going to need 3 or 4 employees because I need that kind of mass volume of work in order to make the math stack. To get the mass volume of work, I need to attract way more work than I've ever attracted before, and I've never had to do that. And that's where you have to then take time out of working in the business to work on the business. And that's where that's the entrepreneur's dilemma, is just like, well, how many hours a day can I afford to spend off the tools in order and sacrifice the income that would have generated to grow the business? It feels like it's like a paradox.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people can't, they can't let go.
Yeah.
Really hard to, most business owners probably know every aspect of their business. A lot of business owners could probably do every aspect of that business better than the employees. Like somebody once said to us, if you can get an employee working at 70%, consider yourself lucky.
Successful, yeah.
And we see a lot of people whose growth is blocked through their own actions, that they just don't let go of stuff. Like you say, they're not working on the business. They're fucking around in bloody spreadsheets and doing the £10 an hour tasks that, again, some VA in the Philippines could be doing for fucking £2 an hour.
Yeah.
And we see that at a lot of big levels of business.
Yeah, and like that's not to be confused with showing willing and leadership by getting involved. What we mean is when someone, let's use as an example, somebody comes into work and decides, right, today I'm going to go through and look at, to make sure everything in our filing cabinet is in the right order, because that's good use of my time. Everything will be in order, and tidy office, tidy mind. So that is not a good use of you, the business owner's time. Now, that's a shit example because I think everyone listening will go, well, I'd never do that. But people do. We know someone that sorted paper clips and thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, paper and organising.
And it's that whole shit, growing the business, marketing the business, talking to people I've never spoken to before, getting rejected is outside my comfort zone. Making sure the pink paper clips are in one pot and the blue paper clips are in another pot is in my comfort zone. I'm going to do that instead. And that is the dilemma. That I would love to come in and design ad campaigns all day. If I would love to do that because that's my comfort zone. I'm as good as anyone else in the business at that. I mean, the team would argue, but what I actually need to do is come in and create the assets that are going to push the business forward, or speak to the people that are going to buy off us, or speak to the people who are going to refer us work, or speak to the people who are going to collaborate with us and put us in front of people we otherwise wouldn't be in front of. And
well, this is the whole point of the E-Myth, isn't it? If you're a baker and the thing you love more than anything is baking bread, don't set up your own bakery. Just work for someone else baking bread, because otherwise you're still an employee.
Yeah,
you don't own a business. You just got a job.
I watched a clip about this yesterday about how to be, if you don't want to be a business owner, how to be the best employee. But I think it does apply to business owners too. It was find the most important metric in that business and show you can move it forward. So if you're an employee, hint for our staff if they listen to this episode, it's the most important metric in our business is growth. I would say that we tend to retain our clients quite well. On the academy side of things, it's a set time. So if an employee here figured out a way to double the growth of the business, let's say, double's extreme, but they would be a precious, they would be making themselves very precious. As the business owner, I would say on any given day, you should have the 3 most important tasks to move the business forward written down in front of you somewhere. And if you're straying far from those 3 tasks, you're letting your business down. And that might sound a bit harsh because, we've all got firefighting to do, and you get an unexpected letter or bill or
You're
whatever.
right though. Most people don't. A lot of business owners don't know what the priorities are, which is why they go around in circles.
Yeah.
So obviously, when people join Codebreak, Eat That Frog is, required reading. Getting those 3 things down and getting them done first thing. That not priority management. To know what you have to focus on to move the business forward. Is it arranging the stationery cupboard, or is it picking up the phones, or going out networking, whatever it might be? But people talk about the £10 an hour task versus the 100, the 1,000, the £10,000 an hour tasks, and it's, if you can't do it, someone else has to.
Yeah.
So that could be a marketing freelancer, it could be a marketing agency. But if you can't consistently market your business, chances are you're going to be in trouble. Not all the time. Yeah, word of mouth, it's brilliant, blah blah blah. I've got a big little black book, blah blah blah.
I've got a big little
a big little black book, but you're still taking risks.
Yeah.
And how, of course, I know business owners that have grown a successful business and are still happy and have hardly spent a penny on marketing.
Yeah.
But they are few and far between. I know a lot more people who have tried to grow their business on word of mouth who have gone out of business.
And there's generally a
Hell of a lot.
pattern between those business owners that haven't had to spend a penny and their kind of attitude to life. I would normally say that they've got a fair personality, that there's normally something about them that's magnetic, and you notice them.
It's all about me.
Yeah. And when they walk into the room, their energy is high, they're dynamic, they're always on the sell because it comes naturally to them. It's not an effort. Now, 90% of people aren't like that. You've got to find other ways to do it. You might employ someone to do it for you, but you've got to find ways to attract people towards you. And yeah, like you say, delegate the tasks that you shouldn't be doing, and you know what they are. Also, make sure that you're aware of the tasks that you should be doing. And I would say 99% of business owners fall off that wagon. They don't, me included, sometimes I fail to write down the things that I should be bloody doing and go and get excited about something else. And is that the right thing to do? No. And then start to implement tools and technologies in the business that make your life easier. It could be AI, it could be connecting softwares, it could be bookkeeping software, it could be social media scheduling software, it could be getting a morning report on your cash flow and your cost per lead. Whatever things you implement so that you've got like a dashboard view of the business, and things that used to be a pain in the arse start happening automatically.
Yeah. I mean, what other kind of priority management things can you think of without giving all our secrets away? I was watching a webinar the other day. It was a lady talk about forget all these like wanky terms. So someone banging on about a marketing strategy and tactics and do you mean a to-do list? And the people the vast majority of the people she had on this webinar, I'd gone for a nose, basically, a bit of a competitor. That kind of thinking was spot on for her.
Yeah.
Spot on for her audience. Which is the golden rule, that the starting point of all marketing: know your fucking audience, know how to speak to them, what kind of language to use. And she was there. We laugh now. We were quite immersed in the coaching industry for a long time. Still got coaching clients. They're great. But that joke I make, that every time a coach does a video, they have to have a glass of water in front of them to show that they hydrate and to show that they only drink water, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And she was there with a glass of wine.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, that, not that I'm square, but I was like, that's a bit different. But bloody hell, did the vast majority of her audience dig that, because they all wanted a glass of wine on a Wednesday night as well.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of stuff. That,
it's engineered. It's marketing, isn't it? Like,
totally. Absolutely. I mean, it's fucking hate that word, but it's authentic to herself.
Yeah, it's empathy, isn't it? With your audience.
She knows what she's doing.
Relatability.
Do I fancy a glass of wine or not? Well, I'm doing a webinar, so yes, I will. Because that's playing the game almost.
Yeah.
But knowing your audience, if you haven't got that step right, chances are a lot of your other marketing will fall down.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. Someone once said to me, boards like strategies, teams like plans, and individuals like to-do lists.
No, who said that?
Oh, God, no, someone smarter than me.
Nick Feeney.
And, God, you just said that.
Sorry, Nick. You know I love you.
But it's bang on, that is. Like, a board wants to know that there's an overarching strategy in your business. The team wants to know that you've got a plan. The individual wants to know, just what do you want me to fucking do? And that's the same for the business owner. Like, yeah, you probably do need an overarching strategy for the whole business. You definitely need a plan so the team know what's going to happen. And then individually, you all need a to-do list. And next to that to-do list, you need, I mean, this is a wanky term, but you need KPIs. You need to know, right, how many sales calls do I need to make a day? How many cold DMs do I need to do a day? How many referrals do I need to ask for a day? How many posts do I need to do? How much do we need to spend on ads every day? What should the apprentice be doing on Tuesday? Like, all these things that you're measuring yourself on, measuring your team members on, measuring the business on. And until you do that, you can't prioritise what's important.
And we quite like, not say we do it all the time, sometimes we're fucking awful at it, but working in blocks of time. Like, people can call Codebreak at any time and the phone will get answered. Can you straight away speak to the person you want to? Probably not, because they're going to be doing important client work. So if you're doing something important, are you giving it 100% of your focus, or are you allowing yourself to get distracted all the time? Because if you can put your head down, turn those notifications off, shut the door, and crack on to work, guess what? You will get a lot more done in less time. So I talked to you this morning about Dan Kennedy again. Years and years ago, in one of his books, I read that whatever you think your hourly charge is, triple it, because you're only productive like a third of the day at best. And it was like, fucking hell, that is so true. And especially as a business owner, you're spinning plates, and then another plate gets added, then a plate falls off, and you're running around like a blue-ass fly, and before you know it, oh shit, it's like 6 o'clock now. I should get home and try and see my partner and kids. And you think
6 o'clock, bloody hell.
Who's
going home at 6?
Have I made the boat go faster today? No. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe you are comfortable and happy. Fucking, I'm all for that. But if your plan is to grow, you need to get off your arse and focus on the right things to do that, to make it happen.
100%. And that's why this is called the entrepreneur's dilemma, because we could have called it the business owner's dilemma, but there are business owners out there that are happy to consistently make 100 grand a year, profit 70 grand, and live a comfortable life. And power to you. But the definition of an entrepreneur is someone that wants to create and grow multiple assets, and that's what we're talking about here. Is if you want the growth, if you want to delegate tasks, you want to get all your time management right, you want to employ technologies that other people haven't thought about and transfer them from one industry to another.
So come on then, how do you find all this stuff? How do you find the right automations, or rather, how do you find the right people? So let's look at marketing agencies. Let's look at marketing freelancers. What are the kind of things you should be looking at if you're thinking, maybe doing your marketing, you'd rather stick pins in your eyes. So you're looking for someone maybe to outsource to before you take the leap of employing. What are the kind of things you should be looking for?
So they should meet you where you're at, and I'll explain what I mean. What you'll find with agencies, any expert in any field, to be fair, it's not just a dig at agencies or freelancers, is their temptation is to baffle you with their expertise or to baffle you with their jargon. So an agency might start talking to you about impressions and the
KPIs.
KPIs, yeah, and like demographic behaviours and things like that.
Oh, do you know what? I said KPI, and suddenly I just thought KFC. It's been so long since I had a KFC.
Okay.
Just I'm so hungry.
When we were talking about important tasks.
Okay,
wasn't what
an army marches on its stomach, John.
Oh, nice.
I'll tell you something though. Holly brought.
How do you know someone's got a Welsh mum? He says the phrase, "An army marches on its stomach." It's very like that's a very like
Is that Welsh saying?
well, not Welsh, but it's a very like
Could have an army
village. Men like my family would say that as well. Like oh, you can't leave the house hungry. An army marches on its stomach.
Holly brought home some chicken selects
From McDonald's.
from McDonald's.
Don't like.
Never had them before, and it's like
They've been around for like 20
Have they?
years. Yeah.
really
Yeah. You'd sound old.
bollocks. Not 20 years.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because they're what's
You're
in the
thinking
wrap.
of nuggets.
No, the selects are what's in the wraps. So the selects have been around for ages.
Shit, and they're absolutely lovely. Really nice.
There's not a patch on KFC. Anyway,
sorry.
yeah. How do you know what automations to use? How do you know if you're talking to the right type of agency or freelancer? What they'll be more concerned with is the pain that you're in or the result that you want, not how clever they are or how much they know about the algorithm. So they'll be talking to you about, okay, so talk to me about where you're at right now. They'll ask you some uncomfortable questions. That's a good clue. So what was your revenue last year? And a good agency or freelancer will also be judging you on how easy you find that to answer.
God, do you remember when? Well, I can't say which company it is. A company approached us and many other marketing agencies a year or so ago, and basically saying they've got this amount of budget, they want to outsource all their marketing, and basically tendering for the business. And the amount of money, it's like, well, that probably wouldn't even cover your ad budget for what you want to do. And it's like, is that shit still going on where marketing agencies get together and like basically beg for the business and do a presentation about how wonderful they are?
Yeah, 100%. You know, a lot of the big companies and a lot of the charities and public sector work has to be tendered for. They'll have a policy where you've got to go out to 3 trusted suppliers. Now, I'll be completely honest, I would say they've already made their decision before that tender process even starts, but they have to because of company policy or compliance or whatever. What you're alluding to is a smaller business that I would suggest has brought in a business coach that's bought a business coach pack in a box. So they've never actually owned a business. They've just decided to be a business coach, and they've gone, oh, well, what you should do is every time you need an accountant or a marketing company or a solicitor is put it out to tender. And what you don't realise you're doing is if you show up to someone and say, look, we've got a budget of 50 quid, do you want it? You're embarrassing yourself that you've not done your research. And
Well, come and pitch to me, and I'll just go with the cheapest.
yeah, because, you know, we work with owner-managed businesses. We don't work with boards. We don't work with PLCs, that kind of thing. But there's plenty of agencies out there that do, and tendering and pitching is their marketing process. It's a big thing, part of what they do, and it's a risk-reward strategy because it could cost you 20 grand to do a tender, but you might win £2 million worth of work off the back of it. But you're playing in a small pool.
Yeah. I mean, each their own, absolutely. But I mean, we had Brad Burton on the podcast a few months ago, and God, probably over a decade ago, I was talking to Brad, and he was saying about proposals aren't worth the paper they're written on. To proposals rather than presentations. He says all people do is go to the last page, and then to remember, we actually invested in some proposal writing software, and it would tell you how long people spent looking at different sections of your proposal.
And it's over 90% on the price page.
Well, we'd fucking spent ages writing the about page and the strategy and all this, and it was like 2 seconds, 7 seconds, and then the pricing page, 3.5 minutes.
Oh, and the best decision we've ever made as a business, well, not the best, that's an exaggeration, but having a brochure with a standard pricing table in the back.
Yeah.
Is just like, right.
No one does brochures anymore. Fucking mad.
Yeah, I'm going to send you our brochure. If you do want to read about us, all the information's there. I know you're going to turn to the pricing page, but I now no longer have to write a proposal. And I had an example of this yesterday where maybe our pricing tables won't fit what this lady needs, but at least before she goes into my diary and books a call with me, she's got a good feel for what the ballpark is.
You know, this should be a whole new podcast, I think, because you know, you're speaking to someone next week, a potential client, and you shared me their LinkedIn bio yesterday, and I think
this is the same lady. Same lady.
And her headline basically said what packages she offers and what the prices are. And I was like...
No one is ever going to try it. I mean, well, let's be honest. So if you're really upfront with your pricing, people will still try and negotiate. That's just the Martin Lewis effect.
My mum.
Yeah.
How much if I buy 2 light bulbs?
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, mum, please don't.
But what won't happen is someone with £1, if your minimum fee is £1,000, someone with £1 probably won't try. And if they do, they're quite easy to get rid of. And
I think for a lot of people listening, if you want to know how to save time, this is a good way.
And
to
what
do
other
it.
mentors, coaches, experts will say is you will lose business through that too.
Yes.
That there is a Venn diagram crossover of people who will say they've got no money who actually have, that you're then not going to win that work and you haven't had the opportunity to prove your value. And that is true. But if you want to scale at speed and not deal with loads of knobheads, sometimes it's just easier to like tattoo it on your forehead.
I say you got, I don't know, bloody 20 grand to spend on a car, and it's like, well, that one's 21, that's 22, but it's really good, and there's a good salesperson there. That's one thing. But cars that cost 22 grand and your budget is 10, save yourself a lot of time and pain. And it comes back to what you said, market message media, knowing who you're targeting.
Well, and that's why the
kind of budgets they've got.
That's why the car dealership does it, right? They put those weird. I mean, this feels antiquated, but they still put those price signs in the window that they can adjust. But no sane person with 10 grand is going to look at a 30 grand car and then go and inquire. And hopefully that's kind of thing. But yeah, so there's a tool you can put in place straight away to help your marketing efforts. Is almost decide if it's worth you being upfront about your pricing, and if it isn't, make a really good case for why not.
Yeah. And your branding has to make that clear. So, I mean, I don't fucking know, but let's say Rolls-Royce. Let's assume that Rolls-Royce don't publish the prices of their various models, but you look at the Rolls-Royce brand, you look at their website, you look at any advertising they do, you have to be pretty fucking stupid to think their cars cost the same as a Ford car.
Yeah.
Car, KA?
I think it's a KA, but yeah, I like...
They're stopping the Fiesta, did you know that?
It's gone. Done.
Mad. Love the Fiesta.
I think they might reverse that decision.
Silly. Now, and Emma told me the other day, some big brands are stopping making electric, aren't they?
BMW, Mercedes, yeah.
Someone else as well. Audi?
Yeah, probably, yeah. They're gonna revisit in 2030 or something. Yeah.
When's it stopping that they're stopping petrol and diesel cars in this country? They've pushed that back, haven't they?
Yeah, so I guess the manufacturers are basically saying you're never going to get that through.
Okay. But yeah, when was that? About your pricing. There's a good book, They Ask You Answer, Marcus Sheridan, and he talks about this a lot. And sometimes, whether you're speaking to the wrong people, whether you think, shit, well, I've bloody sent out 10 proposals, I've had 20 meetings and none of them have come in. It's like, are you fishing in the right ponds? Would it be easier to have a brochure? Is it possible in your business to have some options? So even though everything you do is bespoke, are there 3 packages you sort of work around that could eliminate so much of the fucking ball ache in your marketing strategy? Yeah,
absolutely. And then all the things you can put in place to save yourself a ruck of time. Be it, I mean, we could do a whole podcast on how to use AI properly. But
oh god, yeah, 90% of people use it so badly. It's frightening. Obviously, everyone's jumping on this bandwagon. Oh, I don't need to write blogs now. Oh, I don't need to write my social media posts now. Oh, I don't need to write sales letters anymore. I'll just let AI do it. It's like, yeah, you can, if you know how to fucking use it.
Yeah, and if you're willing to invest the time and money to use it properly. Like, we've got software here that I can say, I want this piece of software to talk to this piece of software, and then I want it to send a notification to this person, and the AI will build that for me. And like, that will be mind-blowing to people listening to this, but that's...
So obviously you're the AI king. How much of the academy is going to be focusing on AI?
So certainly... So the academy is made up of sort of 3 modules as such: market, message, media, and AI will be heavily involved in the message part of that, a little bit involved in the market part of that, and a little bit involved in the media part. But it's not just about the volume of what you can create, because AI is quicker than you. It's about the quality as well, and people, that probably goes against what a lot of experts are saying, where they're like, well, it still can't beat a human. No, it can't beat Dan Kennedy, the copywriter that charges $10,000 a day. No, it can't. But what AI can do is I can feed it 5 pieces of Dan Kennedy's work, 5 pieces of Alex Hormozzi's work, 5 pieces of Marie Forleo's work, 5 pieces of Gary Vaynerchuk's work, then give it my piece of work and say, please assess my copywriting against those 20 pieces. Now, that'll sound like a lot of work. Yeah, it is to start with. But by the time I do it the 10th time, it's seconds.
Which is why people don't do it.
Yeah.
That initial, you've got to do the reps, which again comes back to that consistency. I think if you are not, probably in anything you do, if you're not consistent in your fitness, in your nutrition, in your marketing, quality time with your family, whatever it might be, you're missing a trick and you're missing out. And some things, maybe not so marketing, in selling definitely, if you don't do it regularly, you get rusty quite quickly.
Yeah.
And so in terms of like trends and learning and stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to be up to date with what's going on in the marketing world, in the social media. Of course you have. But we are seeing a lot of people jump on bandwagons, such as AI, as an example. And they are forgetting those 3 rules, those 3 principles of marketing. And so it's like, oh shit, Joel, it's 7 hashtags apparently now. That's what you're supposed to use this week on Instagram. And then, oh right, I need captions on my videos, and so I need to spend all day editing my captions. I need to do this, and that's all great. But if the 3 fundamentals are sacrificed because you're counting hashtags or editing videos or doing 20 posts a day instead of 5 because that's what the algorithms apparently like this month, then again you are going to lose out. There's lots of shiny objects out there. In fact, that's how social media and a lot of digital marketing wants you to be.
Yeah, and I guess like one of the key fundamentals of marketing, which we will cover in the academy, and it's important that people are constantly like sharpening their sword, keeping themselves fresh, is marketing isn't about getting people to come towards you, but the first move in marketing is moving towards them. Mm-hmm. And social media, AI to an extent, a lot of these like online hacks and stuff is all about trying to get people to come towards you. But you've actually got to meet them in the middle. And so what you end up with is this situation where you're constantly relying on getting a huge amount of content out there to try and generate interest. But nobody, and we were talking about this the other day, nobody knows who you are. You haven't met them in the middle. You haven't told them your story. You haven't like storytelling is the oldest form of marketing. And it's the way humans are programmed to relay information. So generally, we're all the hero in our own story. Everyone's story revolves around their own logic. And now the risk of that is Andy's looking around because he can hear music.
So suddenly kicked on.
I just think the mics are sensitive. Oh, okay. But yeah, if you're enjoying the tunes,
not my playlist.
But we, you're playing the main part in your own story, and the problem is that narrative then becomes, you decide who the villains are, you decide who the heroes are, you decide what the journey is, but that isn't the same narrative that your audience is playing to. And so you have to go and meet them in the middle, explain your story to them, and then they're like, oh, bloody hell, I can relate to that. Oh, I didn't know you'd grown a business from the ground up. Oh, I didn't realise that you'd had hardships. I didn't realise that you'd spent time in hospital. I didn't realise that you'd climbed Everest. I didn't realise, all these things that you can build into your story that makes people want to buy into you. Now, that doesn't work for PLCs because they're a faceless organisation. But the people I'm talking to, the people that we want in the academy, are owner-managed businesses that have got a cool story to tell and really want to help people, and that's how you meet them in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say there are any particular dangerous trends you see a lot of people doing? You're like, oh, don't fucking do that.
Yeah, we do some of them, but because we're good at them to blur.
Have we edited the Kate meme yet?
The Kate meme, about all the conspiracies.
Yeah, like
the Photoshop
yes,
edit. Yeah.
yeah. So Callum had her with a box of fish and chips. That was good.
Did he? Nice. Jumping on memes is tricky, because unless you've got an audience, you're just doing it for your own ego. If you got 50,000 followers, or like Callum across his account's got bloody thousands of followers, and his end consumer is a consumer. It's B2C. It makes sense. If you're a B2B accountant and you try and jump, I mean, what was the meme? There was a meme where there was like 4 different phases of, wasn't there, a while ago, and it was like happy, sad, and we saw all these boring businesses try and jump on that meme.
Or someone we know who still now jumps on memes about 2 weeks too late.
Yeah, happy hump day on a Thursday, yeah, that kind of shit. And
Friday.
But that's a shit example, I suppose. I think if people are telling you, oh look, this is the latest way that people are growing their businesses, approach with caution, because like a 5-day challenge works brilliantly for someone who is used to the structure of training people. So like PTs do 5-day challenges online because that's not that dissimilar to what they do in the gym. Webinar is great to someone who is used to presenting, used to speaking into a microphone, used to speaking into a camera, is okay with not being able to see the reaction of the audience and keep their energy up. If you're a bit shy and a bit nervous in front of a camera, and you're a touchy-feely business and it's all about care and attention and being gentle, that ain't going to suit you. So when the next marketing guru comes up to you and says, look, you need to do a webinar and then a 37-day challenge, and then you need to run a DM campaign where you're DMing 375 people a day for 17 days exactly, just be cautious, because it's not that the tactic is wrong, but if the fundamentals aren't right or you're not the right fit for that tactic, it won't work. And that's where the Marketing Academy is different, because we're looking at not just making sure you're okay on the fundamentals, but then giving you the support behind the scenes to say, is what you're planning to do the right fit for your business and your personality? So if someone comes back and says, oh, nailed my market now, I know exactly who I'm selling to, and I think the best way to do it is a webinar, and we turn around and say, well, you've only got a typewriter. Like, it's like, that is the level of support we want to offer, and it can't be one size fits all. There's been a bit too much of that over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and be equally wary of well-meaning friends and family. So there's lots of gurus out there telling you, like you say, to DM 375 people a day. Friends and family will, generally speaking, only say nice stuff about you. So when you do your first video, don't go to your friends and family. You know, you need to ask people who have walked in your shoes, who are successful businesses. You know, people who have something that you want to have one day, your kind of peers, that's whose opinion you need. And sometimes it's harsh, because we've seen some people jump on the webinar bandwagon, and fucking, I'm not saying we're amazing at webinars, but we know how to speak in front of a camera, and know how to share value, and keep our energy up. Some people, oh God, it's awful. It's like, who has told you to do this? Just some fucking marketing ninja. And it's like, it's fucking awful. It can't be, well, like you said, it can't be one size fits all. And if it looks like, okay, this will be good for you, but you need to practice first, again, you need to do the reps. How many videos we've recorded in private, just right, take after take after take after take, getting comfortable with it.
No, do you think, like, when we started doing video heavily 6 or 7 years ago, it'd take me hours to get one done?
I remember. Well, a podcast. How many people? Oh, yeah. I'm going to do a podcast. Are you really? Right. And if you're one of the 10% that actually do launch a podcast, how long are you going to stick at it for?
Yeah.
Oh, I've done 5 episodes, Andy. You know what? Didn't get a single inquiry. Who the fuck told you a podcast was going to like give you business? Oh, why else would you do it? And it's like, oh my God, where are you getting this advice from? And the problem is they're getting this advice from 500 different marketing ninjas on social media. And so It is a noisy world out there. It is a confusing world out there. We want to make sure that the academy is here to cut through all that bullshit. It's got to be about stuff that works, stuff that will work for you. And yep, there are marketing trends you can follow, but like you said, not at the expense of the 3 rules. Know who you're speaking to, know what to say to them, and know where they are. And the harsh reality is, that knowing where they are, that's never been easier. But guess what? It means you've got to spend money on ads.
Nice. So, if that sounds like a bit of you, visit academy.codebreak.co.uk/join and we'll get you in.
Awesome.